Hi everybody, Alyssa Prettyman here. This video is a primer or a precursor to ball rolling and self-massage. If you're newer to self-massage with us at Breathe Together Yoga, it can be helpful to watch this first because it's going to give you a quick idea of the types of massage tools that we use, inexpensive at-home substitutes, and how you can manage sensation in a way that is appropriate for your body. So we're going to talk about kind of rules of the road when it comes to doing self-massage so that you can try any of the videos that I put up here and make sure that you can do what is offered in a way that is safe and effective for your own unique structure, because we want to make sure this is accessible to everybody. So let's start off with talking about the tools. In the self-massage courses that we do and the classes that we do, I tend to work with three primary tools. So here they are. You'll notice they are all balls. They're different sizes and they do slightly different things. So let's work from this end. This is probably the most common one. You actually see these in a good amount of yoga studios these days. These are called tune-up therapy balls. There's 2 balls in a tote bag. They're about the size of tennis balls. So easy at-home substitutes might be 2 tennis balls in a tube sock, or 2 tennis balls in an onion bag or a mesh bag. I've seen a lot of fun at-home variations. I've also seen people actually duct tape or saran wrap 2 balls together permanently and then have 2 balls available out of the tote. So I've seen some pretty creative at-home solutions. Now you can check the Breathe Together website to see if they're still selling these, or you can check my website, Alyssa Yoga, ALYSSAYOGA.com, for any of the tools that they don't have available. I have a big link on the top of my website that says buy balls, and there's a page with pictures and a big order button. So if you want to get these exact things, you can from either of our websites or use some of the at-home substitutes that I'm talking about now. So these are 2 in a tote. They'll be helpful for when we want to roll and frame bony areas, like say you wanted to do the shin, right? Not right on the shin, but to the left and right of it. It's really nice. Say you want to frame the spinal column. You want to do the back of the neck or anywhere down the spine, but you don't want to be right on the bony part in the middle. So these are really good for that and a bunch of other stuff. We use these probably the most of any of these massage tools. So these yoga tune-up therapy balls, they come in 2 sizes. It doesn't matter which one, really, for the work that we do together. There's a slightly smaller size, but either one would work for the classes that we're going to embark on. Okay, the next ball is the alpha ball. This is about the size of an oversized tennis ball. So I was at the dollar store the other day in the dog toy section, and they had all these oversized tennis balls for $1. So the alpha ball is rubbery. It's got grip. It's got a slightly different texture, and I really like it. But if you want a cheap substitute, go find a dog toy aisle in any inexpensive store, and you should be able to get something that's similar to the alpha ball for a couple bucks. The alpha ball is really helpful in certain instances. If I'm going to roll on the wall and I want to roll my collarbones or I want to roll my trapezius, a small ball, it's going to feel like you're rubbing your head and neck all over the wall. Because this is a little bit bigger, it provides a little bit more clearance. So it's just easier to get at some of these kind of funky zones around the chest and the neck and the head. It can also be a slightly softer ball. So sometimes we'll roll the glutes, we'll roll our backside, and we might do this crab walk roll. And it's slightly bigger. So it's going to be slightly less intense than a smaller ball. So in an intense area, you may want a slightly bigger ball because it will distribute the force across a broader area, right? Think about rolling the bottom of your foot on a golf ball, really small, versus a soft ball, a lot bigger. Both are pretty firm, but you can sense how the golf ball would be more intense. Same theory applies here, okay? So that's the alpha ball or oversized tennis ball. This squishy one back here is called the gorgeous ball. Gorgeous like gorgeous. It's very similar to a Pilates ball. We work with a lot fully inflated, but sometimes we deflate it too. We'll make a cuff around the neck. We'll make a lumbar support. You can actually drive with this, partially deflated at your low back, and it puffs up just the perfect amount to provide some low back support. I brought it on airplanes before too. People always ask me about it. So we use this one a lot when we work in areas around the rib cage, around the thoracic zone. And this is a big sticky zone that needs to be worked on for many reasons. If you're into yoga, twisting and back bending. If you're into stress reduction, right? Creating breathing room. There's all sorts of reasons and ways we work with a gorgeous squishy ball. If you don't feel like going out and spending I think it's $12 on the squishy ball. Like I said, some Pilates balls you may be able to substitute. You can roll up a towel. I've taken my bath towel, I tri-folded it and then rolled it up like a burrito. You can see it's similar in circumference, not quite as big. It's also a little firmer. It doesn't have as much squish and give, but this is probably as close as you can get without going out and buying a massage tool. I like to work with blocks. If you don't have blocks, a couple big thick books will do. But there are certain times when we're sidelined, when we want to support the head so that the head is in a neutral position. We'll also do some work with the blocks under the back side if we're kind of rolling on the neck and we want to be in a bridge position or something like that. So those are the basics of some of the tools. Now let's talk about sensation. The sensation that we're going after should always feel breathable. If your breath hitches or you feel shooting pain, numbness, tingly sensation, these are all signs that the information system is feeling threat or you're pushing on something that's not ready to be pushed on. Here's some things you can do. 1, move the ball a little bit, north, south, east, or west. See if slightly shifting from the position that you're in reduces stress or strain. 2, switch the tool. So maybe I'm using this hard ball on my glutes and it's too much. Well, I could absolutely use this squishy ball. So just switch the massage tool. 3, change the density of the surface that you're pressing into. Okay, so the floor is really hard. If I go to push between my hand and the ball, well, the floor isn't going to give. So the ball is going to push into me. But if I had, say, a squishy carpet or a squishy chair, right, or a squishy surface, and I went to do the same thing, well, the ball's going to sink a little bit into the surface and a little bit into me, right? Imagine putting it under your backside sitting on the floor, yikes, and putting it under your backside sitting on the couch. It's going to go into the couch. So you can switch the softness of the surface underneath you. Some people will look for a plush carpet when we do this work at home. The last thing that you can do is change your orientation with gravity. So moving to the wall is something that I will require for some sorts of the techniques that we do around the shoulders and the hips, simply because it's easier to move at the wall and it's more effective than working on the floor. But if we're doing something on the floor, I'll go back to the glute example. And as you're doing this, you're thinking, man, this is too intense, or man, this really bugs my wrists. Well, then we're creating stress. And the whole goal of this is that we alleviate stress. So simply move over to the wall. Put the ball on the wall, rub your booty around the ball or whatever area we're working on, and it'll feel amazing. Excuse me. The last thing that I want to talk about is hydration. We are moving fluid, right? Anytime you get a massage, as soon as you're done, they hand you a cup of water. So if you feel thirsty throughout this practice, take a few sips of room temperature water. I recommend room temperature. It'll be a little bit easier for your body to make use of faster. And I would caution doing these techniques if you've been consuming drugs or alcohol. Any state that your system is in can be exacerbated with self-massage or even movement or exercise. You want to try to come in a well-hydrated, ideally well-rested, neutral state. But be really, really careful. If you're going out for a celebration afterwards, be super mindful, hydrate, 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 and take care of yourself. And if you can do those things and you have your tools ready, then go ahead and click on any of the next videos and let's get rolling.